It's hard for me to imagine. It's been 25 years. But there's so many things about Owen that I remember like it was yesterday.
Hart, known as the Blue Blazer, was killed performing a pre-match stunt. As Raj Ahluwalia reports, this time his fans, family, and fellow wrestlers are truly in shock.
No, it doesn't look good at all.
He was, doing some stuff when he hit the rope, I knew something wrong.
He hit face first and kind of bounced and then rolled over.
Today, Ross Hart said his younger brother's death was totally needless.
It was just a stunt to attract an audience for one pay-per-view, but it seems to me it was far too great a risk.
Folks, many of you may have been expecting wrestling. We're supposed to have a little wrestling match here tonight. Kevin Nash and Bret Hart were supposed to wrestle. Unfortunately, Bret Hart's brother, Owen Hart, he was the young man who died tragically in that wrestling accident yesterday. So that's, that was a pretty sad thing. So obviously we are not doing that. So find it in your heart, say a little prayer for them tonight. So Bret, we are very sorry. Our sympathies to you and your family. So God bless you.
And we don't have any answers as to how this happened.
That was not a good evening. We were the next match, me and Billy, versus
each other, I think.
Yeah, I think it was each other. I think you're right, because we were standing over there talking about the match. That's right, it was each other. And I see I'd already been to war and seen a lot of shit by then. When they wheeled him back, there was a lady sitting on top of his chest trying to start his heart with resuscitation, trying to get his heart started again. And I just looked at Billy. I was crying. I just looked at him. I said, "What are we supposed to do, man? He's dead." And he said, "No, he'll be fine. He'll be fine." And I said, "No, they don't try to start your heart unless your heart is stopped." You know what I mean? So right now he's dead. I saw him go by dead. And I said, "What?" And he said, "Please, please." He just grabbed me. He said, "Please, let's get through this match, and then we'll find out what happened. And we'll take care of it from there."
When Owen was When Owen was falling, everybody that was there said the last thing that he yelled was, "Look out. A guy's fallen from 100 feet, and he knows he's done. And the last thing he's thinking is, look out, I don't want to hurt you." It was foolish. It was unnecessary. It didn't need to happen. I'd have Davey Boy Smith on one side, Owen Hart on the other side. While I'm talking, Owen would reach down and he'd shoot me in the crotch with the water bottle, where on camera it looked like I'd pissed my pants. I don't know this because I'm looking at the camera. He would find things in nature that he could mess with people about. And he was a prankster. And it was funny and it was fun. It wasn't destructive with Owen.
Let's see what Austin can do with Eamon. No!
In an instant, Austin's career had changed forever at the hands of Owen Hart.
It was an important match for Owen, up against the new star of the WWF. It would turn into a disaster.
The crowd was right where we wanted them. Everything was perfect. I could do no wrong, and my opponent, Steve Austin, was perfect. Everything he did, the crowd responded to. He was the fan favorite. I was the bad guy. The dance partner, and you go out there, and you're doing your stuff, and you got them right where you want them, and everything is going well. And then all of a sudden, in a split second, I did a move where I dropped him on his head. He had a trapped neck for a while now. For a few months, it's been really bugging him. Even if you just shove him from behind, if his neck kinks back, it can, he gets these lightning bolts. And I saw his neck, there was a little bit of a cushion and impact on my thighs.
It's an accident. There appears to be nothing wrong with the rigging.
According to Owen's boss, Vince McMahon, the wrestler was attached to a cable and was to fly from the ceiling like a superhero, a new stunt he rehearsed successfully in the afternoon.
The speculation is that somehow Mr. Hart accidentally pulled the release.
But Hart's brother Bret, also a wrestling star, told Good Morning America Owen was worried about the stunt.
This idea was taken to him and it was suggested that he come out of the ceiling And I know there was a bit of a discomfort about the danger in it, but somehow over the weekend he got sort of talked into doing it again.
Some fans believe the showbiz of professional wrestling has gone too far.
I believe more precautions are probably going to be enforced now than anything.
I think just all entertainment. That's what people pay to see, and that's what they're going to give them.
But that's little consolation to Martha Hart, who appeared on the Today Show.
I miss my husband, and I'm just sad for myself that I'm a widow at 32, and I have 2 children that are fatherless now. It's very hard for all of us.
When somebody crosses that line, it's a bad thing, but when somebody messes with family, that's over the edge. And when somebody messes with family, that's over the edge. And over the edge. And over the
sad state of affairs that the 2 times something went wrong in the ring, it was the exact same move that he knew he couldn't have done the first time. So it always strikes me as odd that he'd attempt it a second time with someone even bigger the second time, which always struck me as a bit odd. There's no real feud going on. You get sent out with Owen Hart, and within about 2.5 minutes, Owen does the recreation of the Steve Austin inverted pile driver that nearly paralysed him and it impacted on his spine, causing him severe neck injuries. And he does the same thing to you, and it was reported that it all went absolutely fine. And when I asked you about it, you said no, it didn't. So if you could tell us the story.
Yeah, no, that did not go fine at all. I mean, it was again, it was supposed to be a recreation of what happened with Stone Cold Steve Austin as well. I mean, that was already predetermined, and that there'd be an injury angle, and then I would be taken out of the ring on a backboard, by EMTs. So that was already put into place. But the reality was, he did drop me right on my head. Ironically, Stone Cold Steve Austin called me up, I'll say somewhere in the last, 10, 12 months ago. He called me up out of the blue, my cell phone, and he goes, Dan, it was a Stone Cold Steve Austin here. He said, I know that we didn't talk much when we were both working for Vince. And he said, you had your thing to do, I had my thing to do. He said, a friend of mine just showed me a video just recently, and he goes, I had to give you a phone call. He said, Owen Hart, well, I mean, he basically said, Owen Hart fucked up. He goes, he literally dropped you on your head. He should not sit down on his butt. He should drop down to his knees. And I go, yeah, he did. He did it incorrectly. He goes, are you okay? I go, I come up with a little comical line. I go, mentally or physically? And he got kind of a kick out of my one line. I said, honestly, Steve, I hit the top of my head and I had a bolt of lightning run down my spine and run down my leg. I said, it was all part of the angle. As I laid there, I didn't try to bring any attention to myself, but as I laid there, I'm making certain that my hands are still moving and that I could still move my toes. And even at one point, because I think, I don't know if Owen realized at that point in time that he screwed up or he hurt me, and he knelt down because he's still trying to keep in match performance mode. So he kind of whispers, he goes, he reaches out, grabs my hand, he goes, if you're okay, squeeze my hand. Well, I did not squeeze his hand. Literally, I know I dodged the bullet.
The day came and I was talking to Owen in the back, and we were throwing a few things together for the finish of the title match. I said to him, well, what if we do that thing where I come in for the elbow and you rotate your back around and pick me up upside down and give me the tombstone pile driver? Then you cover me and I'll kick out right before the 3 count. I added, now, Owen, I don't trust just anybody to do a pile driver to me, but you can do it, right? And he said, yeah. I said, you're going to go to your knees, right? And he said, no, I'm going to drop to my ass. Then I said, well, you need to go to your knees, right? And he said, no, I dropped to my ass. That's 2 times I said that. And I was thinking, I'm dealing with Owen Hart, brother of Bret Hart and son of Stu Hart. I guess he knows what he's doing. He's ribbing me about dropping to his ass instead of his knees. Owen was a hell of a technician. When he assured me I'd be okay, I took his word that I'd be okay. I didn't think twice about it. I had mentioned my concerns to him twice, But in an inverted tombstone piledriver, done the way Undertaker does, it's always going to the knees, not the ass. So I figure, Owen's got it. He knows my concern. I'd asked him twice about it, and that was the big spot in the match. When I came out that night, boy, people were ready to see Stone Cold Steve Austin do the Stone Cold Stunner on Owen for the title belt. The match went along, and it was a good match. The right style of match for that year. It was a solid wrestling match. We were going through some things near the end that could be finishes, but they weren't. The crowd was really into all the false finishes. Eventually, we set up the piledriver spot. I spun Owen around, and he landed on his feet. Then he picked me up, upside down, and wham! Dropped straight to his ass. There was simply no room for me to protect my head. I weighed 250, he weighed 225 or thereabouts at the time, but with the jump up and the impact down, man, I got spiked headfirst into the mat hard as hell. That's one of the things that's going to turn you into a quadriplegic quicker than anything. It's called axial load. It's not a whiplash thing, but a major impact blow to the spinal cord. Boom. I remember kind of picking my head up from the mat and telling the referee, Earl Hebner, "Tell him not to fucking touch me, I can't move." Earl got up and told Owen, "Don't touch him, he can't move." I said, "Tell him to buy me some time." Earl told him that, so Owen started chanting to the crowd, "Now he's going to have to kiss my ass." He was buying me the time I needed to recover. A minute or a minute and a half went by, and I finally started getting a little bit of feeling back in my limbs. My shoulders and my anterior delts were on fire. It took everything I had to bend my legs and try to get into a crawl position, but I couldn't crawl on my hands because I couldn't use my hands yet. Still, we had to get to the finish, and I had to win. So I was crawling around on my elbows, and I told the referee, "Roll up for the win." He told Owen what I'd called, and the next thing that happened was I did the worst-looking roll-up in wrestling history because I couldn't use my limbs. Somehow I managed to hold Owen on his back and get a 3 count out of it. I meant for that to be the end of it, but Owen kicked right out after 3. Why? To make himself look strong like he was barely beat. That kick out hurt me like hell too, and could easily have injured my neck further. I should have lain there and gotten medical attention, but it didn't happen that way. It was one of those deals where it was a highly anticipated match. There were a lot of 316 shirts out there that night, a whole lot of Stone Cold fans. All the referees came out to the ring, and it took 3 of them to pull me to my feet. I got my arms around them, and they tried to hold me up and hand me the title belt, but my legs were dragging and I could barely walk. I got to the back, and I was visibly shaken. The whole thing just scared the crap out of me. As they got me onto a stretcher, I just wanted to know what the hell had happened. They took me to the hospital for x-rays, and I was released. I bought myself a 12-pack of beer, laid in bed at the hotel, and finally went to sleep. Despite everything, I got up the next day and drove to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania to do Raw, cut a promo on Owen, because I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. My delts were burning like crazy and I couldn't wrestle, but I went and covered my ass on TV. Here's what I said to Owen Hart the next night on Raw is War. "Owen Hart, I'm not going to listen to the doctors. I'm not going to wear this piece of crap they gave me, this stupid neck brace. The fact that you dropped me on my head don't mean a damn thing to me. The fact of the matter was, you were too stupid to cover me when you had the chance. The bottom line is you're a loser, Owen Hart. Not because I say you are, but because it runs through your veins because your mom and dad gave that to you, and I can't do nothing about that. Tonight I truly will open up a can of whoop-ass and show you exactly what Austin 316 means. And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so." The next few days I went and got a bunch of doctor's reports. Every doctor I went to said to get out of wrestling. The muscles in my hand were starting to atrophy, and my legs were becoming hyper-reflexive and jumpy, and muscles would start pulsing in my back. The medical name for my condition was central cord compression, but I was told that I could get some relief from surgery.
A rib in wrestling is a practical joke. Owen found his ribs out of nature. For example, he was great on the telephone. He would call one of the wrestlers in the middle of the night at a hotel and impersonate the front desk person.
I got the prank phone calls too. He could call and imitate his dad. Owen's broke his leg skiing. I didn't know. I thought it was Stu calling to give me the bad news. And then, of course, Owen started laughing.
He was pixie-ish. He had the gleam in his eye, and he was pulling pranks or winding people up.
One time we were jogging and there was this big group of runners just passing us, and Owen was just a little bit ahead of me, and then just as they were passing us, he looked back and he yelled and he's like, "Will you quit chasing me? I told you I don't want to go out with you." And I was just like, oh my God, I was so embarrassed.
Been a while since we've seen you here in the WWF. To what do we owe the honor?
Well, Kevin, it's quite simple. The Blue Blazer is back in the WWF because the WWF needs the Blue Blazer back.
Needed for what, Owen?
Owen? I'm not Owen. Where is Owen? I'm looking for Owen Hart too. Where is he? Anyway, the conditions here in the WWF have become deplorable. There's too much cleavage, and that Val, I can't even say his last name, but you know what it rhymes with. I can't even say it. But he's deplorable. Everything is deplorable here in the WWF.
But why you?
Why me? Because the WWF needs a superhero like the Blue Blazer. One that can protect good from evil. And one last thing in closing to all my little Blue Blazers. Take your vitamins, say your prayers, and drink your milk. Woo!